Okay, hello. Today is the May 21st, 2023, and in the Orthodox world, there is an important holiday or celebration relating to Constantine, the important Roman emperor, and his mother Helen. So I thought of talking about them and architecture. With just two examples, two buildings that were dedicated to them. But before I do that, I want to read a little bit about them. So, an image, Constantine, the great Roman emperor, and his mother Helen. And let's read a little bit about them. May 21st, and today is May 21st, is a festive day as the Greek Orthodox Church commemorates Saint Constantine, the founder of Constantinople, and his mother Helen. Constantine and Helen are amongst the most popular names in the Greek world. It is hard to find a family that does not have or know someone christened with these names. There are also dozens of different or shortened versions, such as Elena, Ellen, Ellen, Eleni, Lena, Eleonor, Eleonora, Eleonor, Nora, Marilena, for females christened Eleni, and then Nadia, Nandia, Nadia, Tina, Dina for those Christian Constantina. Constantine was the son of Constantius Chlorus, the ruler of westernmost parts of the Roman Empire, and his consort, Helen. Grecian delight supports Greece. I don't know what that is. Sorry, this didn't have to be here. I copied the text from Wikipedia, and that line was not to be there. Sorry. So again, Constantine was born of Constantinus Chlorus. He was born in 272 in Nisus of Dardania, a city on the Hellespont. In the year 306, when his father died, he was proclaimed successor to the throne. In the year 312, upon learning that Maxentius and Maximinus had joined forces against him, he marched into Italy, where, while at the head of his troops, he witnessed the words, "By this shall you conquer," on a radiant pillar forming a cross in the post-midday sky beneath the sun. The following night, Jesus Christ appeared to him in a dream and declared to him the power of the cross and its significance. Constantine entered Rome in triumph. When he arose in the morning, he immediately ordered that a labarum be made, which is a banner or standard of victory over the enemy in the form of a cross. And he inscribed on it the name of Jesus Christ. On October 28th, he attacked and conquered Maxentius, who drowned in the Tiber River while fleeing. The following day, Constantine entered Rome in triumph and was proclaimed emperor of the West by the Senate, while Licinius, his brother-in-law, ruled in the East. However, out of malice, Licinius later persecuted the Christians. The following day, Constantine entered Rome in triumph and was proclaimed emperor of the West. What is this? No, again, sorry. I didn't notice that this short fragment was written twice. Constantine fought him once again, meaning this Licinius, and utterly destroyed him in 324. In this manner, he became monarch over the West and East. Under him, and because of him, all the persecutions against the church ceased. Christianity triumphed and idolatry was overthrown. In the year 325, he called the first ecumenical council in Nicaea, which he himself personally addressed to create a creed that forms the belief system of Christians. In 324, in the ancient city of Byzantium, he laid the foundations of the new capital of his realm and solemnly dedicated it on May 11, 330 naming it after himself, Constantinople. This is very important. So, Constantine was the emperor who moved the capital from Rome to Constantinople and named it after himself. Since the throne of imperial rule was transferred to Constantinople from Rome, it was named New Rome, and the inhabitants of its domain were called Romans. It was thus considered the continuation of the Roman Empire. Constantine died sometime between May 21st to May 22nd of the year 337 after Christ, of course, having lived 65 years, of which he ruled for 31. His remains were transferred to Constantinople and were buried in the Church of the Holy Apostles, which he had constructed. So this was about Constantine. As for his holy mother, Helen, after her son had made the faith of Christ triumphant, she undertook a personal pilgrimage to Jerusalem and apparently she found the Holy Cross on which Jesus was crucified. But we don't know. Is this a legend? We don't know. But apparently the mother of Constantine found the Holy Cross. After this, Saint Helen, in her zeal to glorify Christ, erected churches in Jerusalem at the sites of the crucifixion and resurrection, in Bethlehem at the cave where Christ was born, and yet another on the Mount of Olives. She also established many other churches throughout the Holy Land and Cyprus, amongst other places. She was proclaimed Augusta, and her image was stamped upon golden coins, while two cities, namely in Bithynia and Palestine, were named Helenopolis, in commemoration of her. Saint Helen died of old age in either the year 330 or 336. Okay, and now I thought of showing two buildings that were dedicated, the first one to both Constantine and Helen, and the second one to Helen without Constantine. Saint Constantine and Elena Church in Skopje, Republic of Macedonia. What impressed me a lot in this building, which is, it's an Orthodox building, an Orthodox expression of the, a theological dogma that, is to be apparently followed strictly by the builders of churches and chapels in the Orthodox religion. But what moved me a lot here, the building probably existed before the covering of the cupola of the dome with these golden panels. It moved me a lot, the incredible accuracy and the rigor of the execution. And I don't think, although gold in certain respects could be problematic because it could emanate some kind of a kitsch aesthetics, it's not the case here. And I think it is mainly because of the astonishing precision of the work. I mean, I studied a number of pictures, and it seems to be executed impeccably. And I think this rigor, this very rigor, is an homage to those you erect the building for. This also reminds me a little bit of these rotated panels of the dragon building built by Daniel Lipskin in Milan, a pavilion for China. He also employed this kind of covering, but here is a different function altogether. Very well executed in Skopje, Macedonia. Now, if it is, what is the sacred? What is sacrality? Maybe sacrality is to be served best by doing impeccable work in whatever circumstance you work. If you do impeccable work, you work for the absolute. And in that sense, you honor the sacrality of life. So this is what moved me about this particular work on top of this existing building, that it's very, very, very well executed. And I think aesthetically it's not, although it's predictable once you understand the manner in which, this roofing is covered. It's aesthetically, I would say, very satisfying. And I don't see anything demagogical, even if, or rhetorical, even if, yes, these appear to be, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they are made of gold, but, they mimic goldness. Or maybe they are covered just with some kind of, thin veneer of some goldness. Gold, of course, it fascinates. It even fascinated the former president of the United States, but in a vulgar and kitsch way. I'm talking about Donald Trump, who covered his whole apartment in Trump Tower in Manhattan, in New York, in gold. But here is about something else. You see, only the roof is done like this. And the roof is the transition between the telluric and the celestial, between the earth and the sky. Or, if you want, between man and God. Macedonia, Skopje. And now I show a very accomplished little chapel that this architect, Mikhail Georgiou, designed in 2015, so 8 years ago, and I think is a remarkable work by any standards. I don't consider it inferior to any modern church or chapel, including Grandchamp by Le Corbusier. It's a very different work. It's a more modest work, but it is brilliant. 2015, architect Mikhail Georgiou. Let's read a little bit about it. I found this website where, if you are interested, you can read yourself within the website what I added to this short presentation. This is the work. It's a chapel in the Orthodox, for the Orthodox, religion, the Greek Orthodox religion. It's modern. It is telling us that it is a chapel. It is. I don't think it could have been done better than it is. So let's read a little bit about it. While massive powerhouse churches are on the rise, it's refreshing to know that some people are straying from the pack and seeking a more intimate place to connect. For those who are not entranced by the grand opulence of cathedrals, there are tiny chapels, such as Apostle Peter and Saint Helen, the Martyr Chapel in Cyprus, to warm the soul. Designed by this Greek architect in Paphos, in the Saint Theodoros area in Paphos, Cyprus, Apostle Peter and Saint Helen. Constantine is absent, but I see here, for some reason, is Peter present, and Saint Helen, the Martyr Chapel, is a tiny sculptural treat that welcomes visitors to experience a new kind of worship. The chapel typology belongs to the double-aisle vaulted Orthodox temples. The building program includes a narthex, a nave, a side aisle, a sanctuary, and a prothesis. Morphologically, it is inspired by the local Orthodox ecclesiastical architecture, while through a series of innovative building methods and materials, it presents a contemporary example. As such, the entire chapel is formed by extruding a section along a longitudinal axis, which results in a legible, lightweight, and welcoming form. The interaction of the extrusion with the programmatic elements of the building creates complex moments and rich spaces within the volume. The east and west sides of the extruded form are left open, providing cover spaces, filtering daylight and views. On the east side, a semi-cylindrical self-standing element hosting the sanctuary is inserted in the volume. On the west, vertical louvers forming the bell tower provide shading for the entrance of the chapel, while a large 5.5-meter tall door allows the interior to be merged with the exterior. Finally, the landscape identified by the almond trees complements the synthesis. The steel structural frame and reinforced concrete walls are bound together by a thin, rigid shell, acting as a seismic diaphragm, forming the composite structural system of the chapel. The shell has a total thickness of 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters, including thermal insulation, and it has been constructed using ferrocement, a cementitious composite used in the 60s for constructing thin shell structures and boats. So this material, although we know, concrete pollutes, but maybe it's worth considering this ferrocement. The material and construction techniques have been revived and used for the first time on the island of Cyprus, combining traditional and modern construction methods. Ferrocement allows greater precision and flexibility in adapting to the free-form shape at a much lower construction costs. The sanctuary mural and the iconostasis are emphasized by the filtered entrance light, which penetrates the longitudinal interior of the chapel. The cupola of the sanctuary features Virgin Mary and Baby Christ, surrounded and celebrated by seraphim and cherubim. The figures are highlighted by the highly detailed textile folds and the large spectrum of golden shades. The composition is complemented by elaborated geometric ornaments. The iconostasis holds the icons of Christ, Virgin Mary, Apostle Peter, and Saint Helen, while allowing selected views to the mural of the sanctuary through a number of small openings. And now I show some pictures of this, I would say, remarkable chapel built in Cyprus, a view of the vaulted ceiling. And at the end, you'll see a diagram which explains in a way everything you are going to see. Because we see the arch here, we see the arcade, we see but it's, I think the building is very, very, is not in any way becoming a prisoner of dogma, and while usually I am reluctant to accept, without question marks, the arched curvature of doors or windows. In this case, I think it is very successful, and it is successful because the main facade here is deviated. It's a deviant arched entrance, and I think this makes the whole difference. All of a sudden, a level of non-conformism is brought in, and it balances, what would have been otherwise predictable. Very interesting work. Because it is both idiosyncratic and respects what the church required there and in some other places. So it shows clearly that within the Greek Orthodox, architecture, I'm talking about religious architecture, it's possible to invent, it's possible to bring in the new without irritating the dogmas of the church. It's a very fine chapel. And it's not easy to do something like this at all. Now, I don't know if this is the architect. He might be. I mean, I don't know. But the building is brilliant. It's actually better than the Greek Orthodox Church that Santiago Calatrava built in the close proximity of the site of the former World Trade Center. It's a smaller building, yes, but it's more innovative and more sensitive and more interesting. So bravo to this architect. And this is the plan. So yes, the entrance is from the west and you advance towards the east. It would have been very easy to fall into the predictability of an arched architecture. But here what dominates is the innovative use of curvatures, which you'll see in the last picture of this short presentation, derives from combining two systems of thought or two formal systems. And usually good work, well, usually, yes, I guess, usually you try to combine continuity with difference, with accident, tradition with innovation. Here you have the tradition of the arches, but then you have the innovation of this roofing, which dominates actually the dogmatic comfortable use of what preceded the building. And it is this ferro cement, slab, curved slab that makes all the difference. It's not complicated, but I think he found the right way to do this, to respect the dogma of the church and to also assert the new. And here you see the technical data about this, curved roofing. Nothing could be simpler, and yet it's not simplistic. And this is the virtue of a well-designed building. It is simple, but not simplistic. And here we see the scheme where he brings together two systems, the double aisle mountain region Byzantine church on the left, plus the steep pitched roof type equals single aisle coastal ridge Byzantine church vaulted roof type. Now, maybe this is just a way of explaining the unexplainable. But this technique, this strategy is all the time used by Bjarke Ingels and other architects. A plus B equals C. But I do think this chapel is remarkable. It's a lesson in architecture, and I think it has all the reasons to receive our admiration.